So what is market research basically? So market research means that you want to know and understand the specific information regarding a particular market. You might want to learn how big a particular market is in terms of money or the number of customers that are out there that are willing to purchase your either products or services. And what are the different competitors out there? What are their products that and services that they are selling? How are they different from each other? What are the benefits of each and every product that is out there, each and every service that is out there in the market? How do they compare with each other? And what are the gaps in the market where you can create more value to the end users? So these are the kinds of information that one looks when doing market research. You could, based on what you see in the market, you could predict how things are going to grow in the futures. You could identify different factors that are supporting the market growth, that are driving, and you could also identify the factors which are limiting a market from growing in future. And looking at the whole dynamics of all of these things, the interplay of these things, understanding that, creating a model around that quantitatively as well. These are the things that anybody who is doing market research would do. And what does this do? It enables you, it gives you that strategic insight, that strategic information that is required in any business that is out there. Because market research acts as that eye of any business. It keeps an active outlook on what is happening in the market outside. And based on all the information that you get in, you put it into the business brain and you process that information to create insights. That insights drive your short term and long term strategy. So essentially, market research is not something that is specific to healthcare. It is a generalizable skill that each and every business out there needs it, whether they are starting a new business or they are in the business. Okay, so but in terms of healthcare, there are nuances. So market research becomes a powerful skill when you combine it with your domain knowledge, because then it separates out from a generalist approach. Particularly in healthcare, you if you are launching a new drug or you're starting a new company, you have to have an idea about the disease area where your drug is entering into the market. So you have to understand what are the existing drugs, what are the existing lines of treatment, the first line of treatment, second line of treatment. You have to understand all the uh, patient population that are out there. Are there any subgroups of population which are untreated at the moment, which you might want to target? You have to compare the various side effect profiles of the current drug, the efficacy profiles of the current drugs, and where are the gaps where you can bring in more value, right? So that's from the therapy side of things. You also have to understand the regulatory and geographic aspects, where which countries of the region or in the globe markets where you would want to launch the product and there is an opportunity, and how easy it is to get into those markets. So that is a part of market access. And there are multiple other factors that go into making these decisions, but it's a highly complicated process and requires a lot of research and not one time research. These factors keep changing dynamically. So you have to have an active research, a dynamic research that keeps going to collect all of this information and make sense of that information that drives decisions for a business investment. So these are the kind of things that market research enables, and that puts you in a prime position to inform every strategic decision that a business is making. Essentially, even in your personal life, if you have to invest an amount or say from your salary for your long-term investments, you will obviously do research and identify the best assets that give you high returns and low risk. So always keep that in mind, that this is the equation that you have to have in your mind. This is the function that you have to maximize. So maximize your profits, maximize your return on investment, and minimize the risk. And that is what market research enables you in any business. Now, coming back to our example of healthcare, we all know that drug development today takes anywhere from 10 to 12 years on average. Of course, the AI technologies being implemented at every stage of drug development is reducing the timeline, but still, at the moment, we could safely say that it takes at least 10 years for drug to come from a molecule to the market. Now, not every company that is out there is involved in each and every stage of drug development. They focus on specific things, except for a few large farmers. Not every company can potentially engage at each of the stages of drug discovery and development. So they target specific functions. There are companies that work only in the drug discovery side. There are companies that work only in early uh, research and development, in the preclinical development. There are companies that work in early clinical developments and late clinical developments, and then there are companies specific to commercialization, marketing, and market access. So each of these companies, let's say they play a relay with the drugs. They pass on the baton at each and every stage. And which baton you want to take requires a lot of research, because at every stage it moves after 2 to 3 years, 3 to 5 years, depending upon how long it takes for a drug to develop in that particular stage. But then the market dynamics keep changing, right? Other companies are also launching new drugs. There are different regulatory changes that keep happening. And because of that, a company has to make a strategic decision at each of these transitional stages, that whether they want to pursue a particular drug and invest further to take it to another stage and to the market ultimately, or not. Right? So that is how crucial market research is, and it is required at each and every stage, it, even at the beginning and even at the end. So and it's a cycle. Even after a molecule comes to the market, you still do post-market research, right? And how do you take it forward? Then comes the generics market after the patent expires. So it's a never-ending cycle, and it's an active process that dynamically goes on forever. So there are ample of career opportunities in this space. You could be working in pharmaceutical or biotech companies where you inform their strategic decisions, you inform their assets in development and their investments. Or you could be working in a consulting firm where essentially you create syndicated market research reports that are purchased by the pharmaceutical or biotech companies who are actually developing these assets. Why they need this is because they want an external unbiased research for their investment decisions. So that is why the consultancies also exist. So your goal essentially should be to pick up a domain that you are interested in and stick to that domain and develop as much expertise as you can while also growing your market research skills. And once you become an expert in that, you can grow to a level of consultant and further C-suite positions very quickly. And these are the roles which are highly respected, highly valued, and at times they require a lot of travel as well to different conferences to stay in touch of all the developments that are going on. So it's quite an intensive career option, but also very rewarding if you like learning new things. You want to stay up to date and create new insights, generate new insights, and go on an adventure with that particular company and drive the strategic business decisions. So if these are the things that interest you, then market research is the right career for you. There are different skill sets that you will have to develop to excel in this career. So one are the scientific research skills, right? You have to be street smart. You have to have also the technical knowledge of where to look the information, how to look the information, how to turn the noise and chaos into an insight. So, and then present it very clearly to the board and the C-suite members, your leadership team, right? So that requires storytelling, problem solving. So there's a lot of soft skill required, and you will at times also speak to the clients in if you're in a consulting firm. So you require that consulting skills as well. So that's about the soft skills. You will also deal with a lot of data, right? So you require data analytical skills also, and you have to have the scientific knowledge of the field or the domain that you're working in. That being apart, another transferable skill that you have to have, or the knowledge that you have to have, is how businesses, especially what are the different models, business models in the healthcare system, and that gives you a business to really, gel all the information that you have clear, identified or done with your research, all the data that you have processed. Because ultimately, why are you doing all of that? To inform a business decision. So like I said, you always have to remember the equation that you have to maximize your return on investment and minimize the risk. So that has to be the bottom line of everything that you do. So if this is the kind of problem you want to solve throughout your career, then market research is going to be a really good option for you.